What's going on, YouTube? Matt from GarageMC here. Guys, it's been a long time coming. I posted a short real quick to see what you guys wanted to do, and like I had one vote on the other bike, and the majority of all the votes were for the 465ex build. Been stealing parts from it for other stuff, like I got to order another set of wheels and tires for it, but that's okay because I wanted to run the XC Rippers by Team Alba Racing along with their bead locks. Maybe some GPS wheels, like the Hyper CF1 carbon wheels. Not sure yet. I gotta order a set of those for the Trx465ex build anyway. But this video, guys, let's start getting some of this stuff knocked out, man. I had to re-go through all the parts I had. If you guys didn't see the video where I laid everything out, there's some things that got used for other stuff like the axle carrier and you know, a couple little odds and ends. But in this video, guys, I finally got my swing arm back from powder coat. So stay tuned. Let's get some of the little stuff knocked out and maybe get this thing into a roller with some takeoff tires and stuff that I have laying around. Let's get it. Alright, so for those of you that are just finding my channel for the first time, guys, I'm going to give you a little backstory on this quad. Actually, the first 400EX that I built on the channel, the 426, is actually here. Guy left it with fuel in it, like, since he bought it. Maybe rode it for a half hour since he bought it. I think he just likes to look at it. You know, whatever. Who am I to judge? He paid a good amount of money for that quad. You know, made a little profit on it. Not that I was trying to sell it, but, you know, it gave me an offer I couldn't refuse on it. So, now that that was gone, went and picked up another one. You guys can go back in my older videos. I think this build goes back about 8-9 months. So it's an O2 frame, 400EX, non-reverse, bug-eye model. Everything on the whole quad is Lone Star Racing. Black everything, black plastics, red seat, red gas tank cover, and I'm also going to do a red 450R hood, kind of like this one up here, if you guys can see that. I'm not going to pull it out right now because we're nowhere near needing to put plastics on it. The engine is going to be a 465, Carrillo piston, stage 2 hot cam, kibble white valve springs, retainers, all that good stuff. So here's where we're at right now, just to give you guys a little backstory on this quad so you know what direction we're going here. So the frame, like I said, it's an O2. I have 450R shocks on it now. I'm probably more than likely going to go to some Elkas on this eventually. I actually found another 400EX for sale that doesn't run, that has the shocks that I want on it. So, you know, what I would pay for the shocks is more than what I can get that whole quad for. So I'm probably going to go ahead and jump on that. Not that I need any more 400EXs here. There's about 13 of them. So, Lone Star plus 2 A-arms, Lone Star steering stem, Lone Star riser clamp, Pro Taper bars, Lone Star swing arm, which is what we're going to build in this video and get that ready. Anything aluminum that was on the engine went to my buddy James over at Moto Blast. Everything was vapor blasted. It's a little dusty, but there's the cases. And I also started powder coating, and that cover on there, don't know if I'm going to run those, but that's black chrome powder coat. Here's a 465 kit. I did a video unboxing this. This is from BPR ATV. If you guys are in the market for anything, be sure to use my promo code GMC10, save yourself 10%. Also, same promo code, same percentage off at teamalbaracing.com. We got XFR Nerf bars, XFR skid plates, all the bearings are Pivot Works. Even have a Lone Star subframe with the battery delete. Being that there's a battery delete, we have to go to this CFM air box that relocates the battery and the regulator and everything into there. This was also vapor blasted by James. I have a CFM oil tank with the cooling tubes. I got this second hand. I don't know what they painted this with, but this stuff, I damn near have to hit it with a die grinder to get it off. So still got to figure out which way I'm going there. If it's not going to look good enough, I'm going to have to buy another one. We'll use this on something else. Also, all stainless steel hardware from Alloy Bolts. Lone Star hubs, front and rear. All the brake lines and brake components are all streamlined, including the rotors, brake lines, and also the clutch and brake lever is streamlined, as you guys can see right here. OEM wire harness that I completely stripped and rewrapped with a DEI heat shielding. I kind of like to do that to stuff, even though you don't really see it. I know it's there. Blah, 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 blah. We had a problem with these Lone Star A-arms, they were very tight to fit. Also, these grease zerks that come on here, they want to hit the frame, so I had to notch it out a little bit. Not really what I wanted to do, but we're going to end up just packing these with grease and putting, I believe they're called grub screws in there, and just blocking those off. When I want to service it, I'll take those out and put these in and grease it. So anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and get into the powder, or the swing arm. So the swing arm, guys, this is also a Lone Star. I believe it's a +1. I have a factory swing arm that's also freshly powder coated. We'll pull that out and, you know, get the length difference and everything like that. We're also going to weigh this. This thing is like a friggin' tank. It is extremely heavy, but, you know, I kind of did this to myself. Everything on the quad is going to be Lone Star, so, you know, everything's got to match. Just because I'm weird like that. I even got the stickers for it. I'm going to go ahead and put them there. I also have, I got tons of stickers, guys. Like, this is just from buying parts just this year alone. It's insane, you know? But, you know, this is the stuff you get into. So, in this video, guys, let's go ahead and get this, some new Pivot Works bearings in there. Here's the kit that I'm going to use. Pivot Works, obviously, like I said, the steering stem bearing and bushing kits also Pivot Works. Anything bearing-wise is Pivot Works. Obviously, other than the Lone Star front hubs, they come already built from Lone Star, so whatever's in there, probably Chinese shit. So here's the part number for a 400EX, TRX 400EX 99 to 08, and TRX 400X 09 to 14. So all the same stuff. It comes with these two. Comes with these two bushings here. These go in here, but we'll go over all the parts that go together on this. I had to. The place that powder coated this did a very good job, and they masked everything off. There was a little bit of overspray in here that I had to take out with a Scotch-Brite pad on a Dremel. So let me get you guys on a tripod, and we'll start putting the bearings in here and getting this all built out. Alrighty, we got the scale of doom out. Let's see how much heavier this Lone Star swing arm is over the factory aluminum cast one. Before we do that, here's what comes in this kit, guys. If you were, you know, had to pause over there, it's 52-0026 for the swing arm bearings. These are the bushings that go on the inside, like I just showed you guys before. You get the grease seals. These seals here go inside these caps. These are what that actually like centers it and keeps the dust out of it here on this side. You obviously get your two encased needle bearings, one for each side. Both dowels. The longer dowel goes on the right side of the quad. The shorter one goes on the left side of the quad. And also it comes with the Pivot Works grease. I don't really use the grease that comes with it. I use Maxima waterproof grease. So I got like literally a case of these things laying there from all the bearings I bought. But anyway, to the scale here. So the factory aluminum one weighs, wait for it, 8 pounds, 7 ounces, if you guys can see that. So this other one is, let me put this down over here, because this is for Jesse's 426EX build, which I'm going to be getting to next. We're waiting on a couple things to come in, and that one's ready to go. All right, so 8 pounds, 6 ounces for the factory. And for the Lone Star tank is, whew, 15 pounds, 8 ounces. So that's a whole 7 pounds and 1 ounce. Almost double the weight for this thing. Double the weight. I mean, yeah, you're probably not going to break this, but I've never broken a stock one either. So, you know, maybe I'm just riding like a pussy. I don't know, but I highly doubt that. All right, let me put the scale of doom away, guys, and we'll get to putting these bearings in. And I'm missing the pivot bolt. I think I sold it to somebody one day that needed one, so I ordered another one. So we'll have to use just a used one or 2 pins for right now to get it hanging in there. And I also got to go through my pile of other vapor blasted parts and get out the rear linkage, which is also Pivot Works bearings in that. Have a video rebuilding the linkage if you want to know how to do that. You just got to go through my videos, guys. There's like 120 something full length uploads, not counting shorts and live streams. So, all right, let me get you guys on the tripod here. Let's quit talking and start doing something, because the damn sure ain't gonna do itself. So, being I'm gonna try and get a bunch of stuff done in this video, guys, we're not doing a how-to on everything. I'll give you a quick rundown on sorry, excuse me, rundown on how this kit goes together and your swing arm. Yes, it'll be the same exact procedure if you have a stock swing arm, so don't think that just because this is a Lone Star that this is different in any way. So these two caps, dust caps, dust shields, whatever you want to call them, these go on the outside. So these little like rubber O-rings here, these go into the caps, and if you look at it, it's got like a tapered side to it. I usually put the tapered side in first. So I'll go ahead and get that in there. So that's part one. Part two would be to, I'll put anti-seize in here before I slide the bearings in. I'll coat all that up real nice. These get pressed in from either side. It almost feels like they want to slide in. You could do this, if you don't have a press, guys, you could do this with like a socket that is about the same size, just slightly smaller than it, and put it in a bench vise and crank it down. Or you know, you could clamp it down and probably do this with a hammer and a slightly smaller socket with an extension. A press just, you know, makes life a lot easier if you have one of those. You can get that at Harbor Freight. It's like under 200 bucks, man. It's a 12-ton press. I don't use it that often, but it's definitely nice to have. When I'm not using it, it's in my friggin' way. I'm also going to pack these bearings with, like I said, the waterproof grease from Maxima. Any grease you have is better than no grease. And if you don't have grease, like I said before, it comes with its own. This is the anti-seize right here by Permatex. So I'll put some in here, and I'll also put some anti-seize on half of this. This way I can hold the other half, because it's gonna coat itself anyway while it goes in there. Because trust me, you get this stuff on your fingers or anything, it will be everywhere by the end of the day. This stuff literally turns you into the Tin Man. So, all right, so you got your dust shields on the outside with the O-rings. Then the next part that goes in there, well, I mean, this goes in before this, but here's like the order of how everything sits. This, and then you have the this little, I guess you would call it like a spacer. This goes in there like that, and then before you put, you know, the swing arm on the subframe, you would slide these into the bearings. So it goes kind of like this. These go inside of these bearings. This is what your swing arm pivots on. Nice tight fit, no wiggle to it, obviously. So that's pretty much all there is. Oh wait, here you got some grease seals as well. I will pack these, the lip here. A lot of people don't really do that, but I take the extra step and pack that. These go in on this side. I will put these in, and then I'll use the spacer that comes with the kit to push it in. This way it's nice and even, and it's where it needs to be. Also, one other step that I'll take when I'm putting these bearings in, you'll have room where it sits between the spacer and the cap. I like to get it dead center, or as center as I possibly can. You know, so it's got an even amount of spacing on this side and this side of it when it's in there. So, like I said, not a how-to, guys, but, you know, I have a video rebuilding a 450R swing arm. Same basic principle. Everything's the same except for the dowels and the spacers that come in the kit. Everything else is the same. Same diameter, all that good stuff. Other things I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to show you guys what I have to do to the bottom end to put the 465 kit on the 99 to 04 bottom end, or 99 to 14, it'll be the same thing. We got to mill out the where the cylinder skirt slides into the cases. Has to be 0.2 millimeters over the diameter. You would normally have to take that somewhere. I've seen people do it with Dremels. I have a better idea to keep it more precise. I'll show you guys that after we get this together. Stay tuned. Alrighty guys, here this is all assembled and ready to be put on the quad. Got everything all nice and greased up. Anti-seize, bearings, everything, sleeves, spacers, dowels, whatever you want to call them. Dust caps are on. I was going to sandblast these and powder coat them, gloss black, but I mean, you really only see this little bit of it anyway. Then, you know, really just be getting carried away at that point, you know, which I'm not known for doing, getting carried away with quad builds. Anyway, all right, so next thing I want to do, I want to pull out my cases and show you guys what I'm going to do as far as getting the where the cylinder skirt goes into the cases bored out a little bit. It's 0.2 millimeters over whatever it is now. The reason for that being the cylinder that you use for the 465 kit it's bored out to 89 millimeters, but the thing that makes it a 465 is the stroker crank, and where the wrist pin location is on the piston is changed, obviously, to give it a longer stroke. So it's 89 millimeter. You want to open up where the cylinder skirt goes into the cases a little bit for heat expansion. If you don't do that, you run the risk of it pinching the piston when it heats up and everything expands. So I got to get some stuff prepped up. You guys have seen me do Mike's 416 bottom end. Even though this is a 465, it goes together the same exact way. There's nothing different. It'll be the same procedure. So I'm going to build the bottom end off camera. It's literally the same exact thing, other than the stroke of the crank. Everything's identical. So I pulled out everything that's going to have to go in the freezer, because, you know, if you guys go back to that video and watch the bottom end be built on that, you guys will see when you freeze the parts that are going in, it slightly shrinks the metal, and then you heat up where everything goes, like where the main bearings, and yes, we're running OEM crank main bearings. I have some other bearings that are OEM in here too. Every bearing in the whole bottom end is going to get replaced. Everything. Bearings, seals. Also have a lightweight flywheel. I had this machined, so, you know, we could rev up a little faster. And yeah, while I go put that in the freezer, I'm going to dig out my vapor blasted parts, like the rear linkage and rear shock. I'll show you guys that stuff before we put it on the quad here. I got to dig out my bolts that go to what we are installing today, and I'm also going to take those grease zerks out and put the grub screws in. So keep sticking around, man. Let's keep cracking at this. Alright guys, I got that stuff in the freezer. I figured I'd show you guys some of this stuff. This is a 400EX rear shock, and this is vapor blasted. I don't think you guys saw this in the stuff that was vapor blasted by James over at Moto Blast. Yeah, the spring's a little scuffed up. I could take it apart and redo this, but like I said, I'm gonna get Elkas for this. So these are just temporary for now, so, you know, just keep that in the back of your mind. I had the stuff for the axle, the Lone Star Excalibur axle that I have vapor blasted. So we got the sprocket hub. I got the Lone Star anti-fade, all vapor blasted. This is a stock 400EX brake caliper stay, and I used the Scotch-Brite pad and took off all the casting marks. Here, I'll show you what one looks like with the casting marks. See all these like lines on the outside and everything? That's all taken off of this one. Even though I'm probably going to upgrade this later to probably, there's extra linkages I had done too, just because, you know, I like to have stuff on the ready to go. Here's a linkage that was rebuilt. The brake caliper stay, like I was about to just say, I might get a BVC one, the one that's milled out of a chunk of billet. I had the Chinese, like, they're like 50 bucks for both front calipers. They look like this right here. This is a knockoff YFZ 450 front brake caliper. These bolt right on to the 400EX knuckles. No modification needed except for that little plastic dust shield that goes over the let's see if there's one on here still. Well, it would bolt right here. It's just a little half moon plastic piece. Sometimes you have to modify it to fit them. Sometimes you can get them to fit on, depending on how you do it. One of the quads I parted out had these OEM YFZ 450 two-piston calipers. So naturally we're going to run those instead of Chinese stuff. Even though I've never had a problem with these knockoff brake calipers, guys. For 50 bucks, if you have a 400EX, definitely order these up. It's 50 bucks for both left and right for a YFZ 450. And it takes it from a one-piston caliper to a two-piston caliper. You can damn near do stoppies with these over the stock ones. Let's see here. The other quad also had an OEM rear brake caliper for a 400EX, so obviously I'm going to run this instead of the Chinese knockoff one. The Chinese one's a little bit smaller than these too. I have my stator cover that I'm going to I got to figure out which direction I want to go. If I'm going to do just vapor blasted everything on the engine, or go with the black chrome powder like I have sitting on the cases now. If you guys are ever wondering what a 400EX oil cooler looks like vapor blasted, there you go. Not using this one though. I have one that's mint with no bent fins, no nothing. Also, there's another set of 450R shocks that were vapor blasted. These ones obviously had silver springs. And there's a OEM 400ex swing arm that's vapor blasted. So, just in case you guys were ever wondering what one of those would look like down to glass beaded aluminum, there you go. You know, obviously, and then the black, gloss black powder coated one. But we're not using either. One thing I didn't mention to you guys when we were doing the swing arm, where is it here? There's a little, here we go. This piece here, this is what your brake stay rides on. Like when you twist your carrier to adjust your chain, that's what that rides on. If you don't have this on there, you're going to get some crazy like clanging noise. So this goes on this piece here, then you put your brake caliper stay after your carrier's in and everything. But, all right, let me get down to the next thing I got to do. Also got to pull this seized hub off of this other knuckle I have so I can match it to the black like the other one there, so we can get the front end on the quad too. Let's keep going. All right, guys, we're making some headway here. Swing arms on. I had some old pivot bolts that I had to literally cut out of a quad. Just, you know, a piece on each side holding the swing arm in for now, since that would have to come out anyway for the engine to go in. I would have done it this way anyway. Once you put the engine in, put the pivot bolt in, you know, when it gets through there, it'll push this one out, take the other one out, blah, 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 blah. Started locating all the hardware that goes everywhere. You got the stainless steel pinch bolts. These normally on a stock swing arm would have washers under them as well. The way this Lone Star swing arm is set up, if I was to use the washers, I would have to make a flat spot on both of them on each side so they would like interlock together. I don't really think it's a big deal. I might do that because you guys know I get carried away with the details sometimes. All the stainless steel hardware is in the linkage. The linkage all has, there's a little dowel that goes in there where the bearings are, kind of just like the same principle as the swing arm that we just did with those bearings and the dowels that go through it, the spacers. Those are brand new in here, all of them. Shock, linkage, there's like 5 total. If you guys ever have to purchase one of those, this is the part number for those dowel pins. Yes, OEM Honda. Right here, 52465-MY1-000. So those all have new dowels, pivot work bearings, you know, all the good stuff like that. Subframe is on with the stainless steel hardware up here. None of the kits I find come with these bolts in Allen head, so I'm gonna have to refurbish the OEM ones till I could maybe find a set. I'll probably have to go to the hardware store and locate some Allen heads myself in stainless steel, if at all possible. It's like a shouldered bolt. I'll show you guys what it looks like. These two down here. Yes, the kit that I bought came with all 4 bolts, but all 4 of them are the same as the 2 that go in the top. So you guys can see that little shoulder there. I don't really think it's absolutely necessary to have it there, but you know, it is what it is. So, all right. Started digging through all the OEM parts that I have, separating stuff, like that's all the dowels and everything that go inside the engine. Even the clips for the plastic are OEM Honda. All the little shoulder pieces that go in between, like where the oil cooler bolts to the frame so it doesn't squash it down. New rubbers. Everything's like brand new, guys. I even got, even though these are in good shape, I got brand new ones. I got brand new ones of these for the seat. These things here that go onto here. Like everything on this whole quad is going to be brand new. This upper bolt doesn't come with the kit. You won't see it anyway when it's on the quad, but James vapor blasted the bolt and the motor mount spacers for me. Can't really go wrong, man. It looks like a brand new bolt, guys. He also does zinc plating too, so yellow zinc, olive drab zinc, or whatever it is, the yellow zinc, or like the chrome style zinc, just regular zinc plating. So if you guys want anything like that done, be sure to check out James. He does a fantastic job. Pretty quick turnaround too. All right, next thing I'm going to get into. What am I going to get into next? I think I'm going to start throwing the brake lines on the quad and get this all, like, as much as I could possibly get done, and then I'll start doing the engine stuff. Also, guys, something to note, when I'm putting a quad together, like, you know, from just a bare frame, any of the bolts that I put in the quad will either, they'll all match. So they'll all go, like, from the right side of the quad in. everything. Pivot bolt, motor mount bolts, all the shit, all the bolts, yeah. Shock linkage and everything, bolts will go right to left. Everything will go right to left as far as, you know, bolts that go in that direction. Anything that go front to back will go in from the front to the back. Just like the A-arms here, which aren't tightened down yet either. I know sometimes people put the rear one in from this side and face it that way, so the nuts are on the inside, but my theory with that is if you ever lose a nut out in the woods, I've done that a few times, what am I, here I go, joking around, getting off topic here. If you ever lose a nut while you're riding, my theory is it'll be obviously a lot harder for the bolt to fall out from the back going forward, you know what I mean, than it would if it fell off from the inside here, since you're, you know, the quad's going that way naturally, especially this one, there's no reverse. You know, it would fall out a lot easier that way than it would that way, so that's why I do that. You know, just a little thing I always do. And guys, on these 400EX frames, where these come together right here, this ungodly hole here, I found when I was parting out a Raptor 700, the swing arm on those, on the inside, kind of like on a stock 400EX, you have those two little rubber grommets that go up here, which you should definitely make sure you have those. That's what keeps dirt out from going through the hollow swing arm and getting into your carrier section. So if you're missing those, order them, they're cheap. But on a Raptor 700, there's round holes on the insides, on the sides of the swing arm here, that have these rubber little grommets in them. So this is off of a Raptor 700. The one I parted out was a 2007, but I'm pretty sure they're, you know, all have that. So check this out. Bang! I think that looks a lot cleaner. Alright guys, I'm going to call it a night at this point. The video's not over yet, so don't leave. This is where we're at, though. I did a couple other little tiny things, like I took the rear master cylinder apart, and I redid the line in this titanium, like carbon fiber looking heat shield with the DEI heat shrink on the ends. You know, why not, right? So, video's not over yet. Like I said, I'm going to call it a night, guys. I got somebody coming out from Pennsylvania is going to look at one of my quads that I'm going to sell. The Banshee. I think I'm going to get rid of it. I want to cash out on that. I noticed some of the prices are starting to come down on those. I'd like to cash out now before it breaks again, you know, because it's all it likes to do is break, apparently. I like to ride my quads, you know. The damn Suzuki, the LT250R there, you can't kill that friggin' thing. I still got to do the other front shock on that thing, too. But, you know, we'll see. If it doesn't sell, you know, there's a certain price that I want for it, and it ain't going for $1 less. So if they ain't coming correct, they ain't leaving correct. You know what I'm saying? Pick back up tomorrow, guys. Keep watching. Thanks for sticking around. Alright, guys, it is now the next day. Possibly when I'm editing, you let me know. Should I do like every other single YouTuber out there in the whole YouTube universe? Do the whole SpongeBob thing, the next day, whatever the hell that shit is, guys. You guys, let me know, man. Drop a comment. You guys know I read and answer every single one of my comments. Usually have conversations with a lot of you guys in the comment section. You guys like the way I do my videos? I just try to just keep it raw, man. It is what it is. I'm not trying to do 50 takes to make something look easy. If it's hard to do or I mess it up, I share it with you guys. So you let me know about that. Mail came. Got a few things in. Got another Pivot Works swing arm bearing kit because I thought I didn't have the one that we just installed on this swing arm. It's okay. I'm sure I'll need it for the next build. So, I want to put the upper steering stem bushing on the quad now. Last night, I just went ahead and put the brake lines on. I had a really nice brake line clamp for the back here, but this Lone Star axle or swing arm isn't like the OEM with the little locating pinhole and the bolt. I'll show you guys what I got. But so I had some P clamps, and I did a aluminum spacer just to keep it from the line rubbing on the swing arm and putting scuff marks in the powder coat. But so let's see here. We have our upper steering stem clamp. Not really happy with that. So one way to take care of this is one of these right here. This is actually for a, you won't find them for a 400EX. On eBay, you got to type in a Trx465ex steering stem clamp, Lone Star, blah, 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 blah. It only comes with the outer one. So the inner one, I had to sandblast it and just coat it black. You don't see it, but, you know, I wanted to get it cleaned up. Steering stem upper bushing. The OEM one has like a green tint to it, so this is a one that came with the Pivot Works kit that I have in the steering stem bearing and, you know, sealed. It's at the bottom of the frame there. I think we did a video installing that after we painted the frame. Guys, it's been so long, and you guys know we've been waiting and waiting and waiting to do this quad. Anyway, nothing I hate more than a squeaky steering stem. Drives me nuts. The LT250R and the Banshee are both squeaking, but so I'll spread this open. I put Maxima waterproof grease in there. I put some on the stem, and I also put some in where this bushing runs, and I'll also fill this little groove with some grease too, and also the back of this Lone Star clamp. This clamp comes with, you know, this part of the clamp and the two bolts here. So already matches our kit that we have. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on, and then we'll get to the next part. Oh, this is the clamp that I bought for the steering, or for the rear brake line, because there's gonna be a lot of anodized red stuff, like anything that had anything to do with the brakes. One, it's all streamlined. Two, red brake lines and anything like anodized red as far as the brakes go is what I have. Also have a anodized red rear brake reservoir cap coming, and the clevis pin for the bottom of the rear master cylinder. So those are on the way too. We could change those later on. Let's get on to putting the steering stem together. We'll move on to the next thing. All right, guys, next thing I want to do, since I'm working on the the controls and up by the handlebars and stuff, I made this plate for the Lone Star riser clamp, so it will go right under where the handlebars bolt. And I was going to put an hour meter here, but one of my subscribers, John Bruzy, you guys can see him in the comments, he sent me this Lone Star plate that goes under the clamp. So, you know, we got to use that. This is the second piece that a subscriber sent for this quad. Brad sent me a gas tank. That was before I had a ton of 400EXs. We needed a gas tank for this. He offered to send me a gas tank, so he did, along with John. Said he's got that plate that needs to be on this quad. So, you know, I like the one I made, but we're gonna go ahead and run what the subscriber sent in. Thanks, John, for that. Brad, thank you for the gas tank too, by the way. So as you can see, the neutral wire and the key is still in here. So what I had done was I ordered a brand new key. This is the part number for it. If I can get this out of here without scratching shit up. Brand new ignition key, and both keys come with it. That's a part number there. If you guys need a key, just make sure you order it for the right year. I think the wiring changed. I think, I'm not sure. I know some of it changed, obviously, with the, you know, reverse light and stuff like that. So here's a brand new OEM Honda key, whole setup. And I grabbed another neutral wire I had. I have a big box of 400EX takeoff stuff. I have the little green, where the hell did I put it? The little green, I literally just had it in my hand. This is the shit that happens, guys. Put stuff down and then it's like disappears. Here it is right here. I just took everything apart to, you know, yes, I rubbed the little lens with compound. I got it cleaned up. I don't know why I go to such lengths when I do stuff, but I'm going to set these up in the plate, and then I want to wrap these wires together. Normally they're two separate bundles, so I'll cut this this casing off of the ignition wires here. I'll bend this little tab up, or maybe I'll just run the neutral wire or the neutral light wires in with this. Alright guys, so this is what I came up with here. I just you know, kept it kind of simple. This is flopping around because I don't have anything tight up here yet. You guys seen the upper clamp there? I think that just the little stuff, man, it really sets off a build, you know, especially when everything all matches. You know, you don't have like this brand of this and this brand of that and blah 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 blah, and you know, quad would still work. You know, this quad, it's gonna be pretty sick, man. I might even sell it the minute it's done. You know, we'll go ride it a little bit on video, and this is just a thought, guys. It's not a definite thing that I'm gonna get rid of the quad. You know, this is a good way to purchase something like this. You get to see every nut and bolt, every single piece that went into it, what was refurbished, what was done, you know, everything like that. What else do I got to do here? Before I end this video, guys, I am going to show you how I'm going to bore out the cases for the cylinder sleeve to go in there, the 0.2 millimeters over what it is. I'll show you that towards the end of the video. We're going to do a couple more things. I'm waiting for my axle carrier to come in so we can get the rear end of the quad together. And like I said, I got to pull some wheels or take just some crappy rollers I have for now to put this thing down on the ground. There's a couple of other pieces I have to prep. Like I need to get, where is it? I need to get this other knuckle out of this hub here. The collar right here is literally seized to the spindle. As you can see, that's not turning with anything, so it's like seized on there. Might have to, you know, just crack that with a air hammer just to break whatever's seized up in there. When I get that off, I have to sandblast and do this in black powder coat to match the other knuckle. And then the front end can get fully put together with the brake lines. I'll even bleed the brakes, get that all done. We'll do that in this video as well. I'm gonna prep stuff off camera. The axle carrier will be here tomorrow. I got my Lone Star Excalibur out, put the hubs on there just to, you know, look at it. What else? There's a couple other little things I gotta prep, like the front fender stays, which I'm not using, but I'm going to powder coat these black in case I want to put lights on the quad, just like I did to the 426, which you guys don't know, the 426, it's actually here right now. I had to order another carburetor for it because, like I said, he just left it with fuel in it for, it's almost a year to the day that he bought that from me. Actually, this weekend, June 10th, 11th. How I remember that is there's an annual yard sale in my neighborhood, and that's when he seen the bike. I heard a car stop out in the road, and Darren came running up like, I know this quad. I'm like, bro, you don't know this quad. This ain't your quad. I don't want to hear that shit. I just built this, and I got proof of it. He's like, no, I'm not trying to say that. He's like, I gotta have it. Blah, you know, one thing led to another. Not mine anymore. But let me actually show that to you guys real quick. Right now, I'll go out in the storage unit there and show it to you guys, just in case there's some of you that haven't seen it. Keep in mind, it was the first one I built, you know, a year ago on the channel. So let's go check it out. So here it is, guys. This is also, well, it started out as a 2002 400ex. If you're new to the channel or you haven't seen some of my earlier videos, my more shy, less informative, less entertaining videos, feel free to go ahead and want to, you know, check that out, I guess. Don't beat me up too bad, man. I had no clue what I was even doing, man. Never even owned a camera or anything like that. So I was just like, one day, let's film this and put it on YouTube. You know, because of you guys, I keep doing it. I don't know if you guys noticed, you might still be getting some commercials. I turned the monetization off. I didn't do this YouTube stuff to make money, man. Eventually, one day, maybe it will. It's just for fun and sharing what I'm doing with you guys, and you know, meeting other like-minded people, which I've met a few of you guys. Everybody's pretty cool. We're all into the same stuff. But anyway, enough of the sob story. Let's look at the quad. So yeah, this is a 426 stage 2 hot cam, ported and polished head that I did by hand. Kipple white valve springs, retainers, blah blah blah. What else here? We got a full big gun Evo R exhaust that is also heat wrapped. That's like my little signature move with 4 strokes, is to wrap the exhaust. Darren wanted these $700 eBay Predator stage 4 shocks, front and rear. This frame is also sandblasted and spray painted with clear coat, etching primer, the whole nine. Most people think it's powder coat, but it's not. I did the upper A-arms, this anodized red, the swing arms anodized red, BBC chain guard. You know, graphics kit. These plastics were looking like they should have went in the trash when this quad first got here. You know, polish those out. Graphics kit, new seat, pro taper bars. You know, the wheels don't match on it. It had all black wheels on it, but they were 18 by 9.5/8 on the rear, so had these sitting around. Threw these on. Darren wanted those, so you know, gave him a set of those. But yeah, the heat, gold heat tape on the oil tank, and also on the bottom of the heat shield. Actually, not only does it, I think it looks good, but also keeps the temperature of the quad down quite a few degrees over a stock 400EX. This one runs a few degrees cooler, so it actually serves a purpose, form and function, I guess. It's got red devil eyes, you know, the LEDs with the red thing in there. Darren threw a little light bar down there. Alba bumper, Alba Nerf bars, you know, skid plates, the whole nine. Anyway, guys, this day is just about over too. I've been dragging ass all day, kind of tired. Any of you guys also that are new, you know, got a little bit of a collection here, going more towards two strokes lately, but you know, 07 LTR 450, 85 ATC 250R. I found out what happened to that too, by the way. 06 Banshee, and one of my favorites, the 91 LT 250R. You guys have seen in a bunch of videos. Anyway, guys, all right, we'll pick this up tomorrow. My axle carrier will be here tomorrow, at least it says in the tracking information, and get this thing down on wheels finally. You know, some extra set of wheels, nothing fancy yet. I gotta order another set because the Banshee stole the ambush tires and the bead locks, so you know, that's why I like those bead locks, man. You can throw them on Yamaha, Honda. Also, that was the only option for this LT. It's got Honda rears and it's got Yamaha front hubs. But anyway, all right, guys, we'll pick back up tomorrow, the next day. Alrighty, guys, it is now the next day, and the mail finally came, only because I was waiting for some parts that I actually needed. It showed up late. You know, when I'm not waiting for something, they're here at like 9:30 in the morning. The day I'm waiting for them to show up, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, that's just like the way of the universe, I guess. At least it seems like it is to me. Anyway, so what we got in today for this quad, other stuff came in for other quads too, like I got a new clutch cover gasket for the 86 TRX 250R bottom end, because even though the three-wheeler, the 85, the top end is shot on that. I'll explain what happened to that in a video when we get to it, but being I'm going to rebuild one to a 310 anyway, no sense in taking one that runs perfectly fine and ripping the bottom end or top end off of it to redo it. I'll just redo the one that needs to be rebuilt, and we'll put this one in the three-wheeler. But the reason I bought a clutch cover is there ain't no way in hell I'm putting this thing on my extremely clean 85 ATC 250R spray painted red. That's just not gonna happen. Not gonna happen that way. So I'm gonna strip all that down. Probably get it vapor blasted by James over at Moto Blast. You guys heard me mention him quite a few times in this video. Anyway, so what was I saying? Yeah, what came in today for this quad is we got a new axle carrier, and yes, guys, this is the extremely sought after Chinese knockoff, $48 on eBay. I have not had one problem with these since I've ever bought any of them. Pivot bolt, I ordered it for a 450R instead of a 400EX. Yes, it's the same thing, but the 450R one, this part here is milled down a little bit, and this is the part on the 400EX that goes through the where the engine meets here, so it'll help not get seized if I ever have to take this thing back apart, which, you know, is highly likely. OEM nut as well for the end of the pivot bolt. So I know they make greasable ones, but I don't really need that for this bike anyway, because when I put stuff in, I will anti-seize the hell out of this, and we won't have any stuck pivot bolt situations. One thing to combat that, if you're using a new one and you've had to cut them out, like the pieces that I'm using to hold the swing arm on now, every once in a while, man, like when you do an air filter change or an oil change or anything like that, air filter cleaning, any type of maintenance, take the bolt off, wiggle it back and forth a little bit, tighten the bolt back up. This way you know it's not going to have a chance to seize, but definitely use your anti-seize when you're doing pivot bolts. Alright, so let's put the axle carrier in here, but before I do that, before I put the carrier in, I started locating some of the parts and stuff that I want to powder coat, like the motor mount plates and all that stuff, and you know, some like little things like the circlip that holds the brake caliper stay on. I want to recoat this stuff, and so I just started making a little pile of stuff that is going to go gloss black powder coat. The brand of powder coat I'm going to use is Prismatic. I'm not doing powder coating on camera in here. I'm just letting you guys know I got to get some of that stuff done before I start putting the rear end with the axle and stuff in this quad. Well, let's get it. Let's put this carrier in. Alright, so if you guys, like, obviously this swing arm was just redone. Fresh powder coat, everything was all cleaned. If you're just changing your carrier, you're going to want to clean out this area, like, thoroughly. Get any grime, old grease with dirt in it, anything like that. Clean it all out, Scotch-Brite it back down to, you know, clean metal, and then I anti-seize. There's not like a square centimeter in here that does not have anti-seize on it. Anti-seize is cheap, guys. It's definitely your friend. You want to use that, or grease. I prefer to use anti-seize here. These carriers, they don't come pre-packed with grease, so as you can see, there's still grease on the Zerk a little bit. I also put anti-seize on this, and I let it get a little bit on the face there where it's going to ride on this edge of the swing arm. So, you know, you want to have all that ready. So now this can go in here. I'll go ahead and just wiggle this puppy on in. Don't be afraid to, you know, use a rubber mallet, which is actually what I'm going to get right now. This is a rubber mallet, guys. You don't want to bang on this with a hammer. Well, a metal hammer anyway. Alright, so that's in there. So now the next thing to go on here, we're going to put our brake caliper stay. I'm going to have to take this back off because there's actually a O-ring that goes in here. I don't know where I put it, so I'm going to have to order one. It's not a big deal to take this back off, but you know, for demonstration purposes for this video, so you guys can see we're getting this thing into a roller, I'm just going to go ahead and send it like this for right now. So let me move you guys over here. So on this side of the quad, talked about this earlier, guys. This is the little cam style sleeve or bushing that goes on this little nipple that's on the swing arm here. On this swing arm, it's part of it. On a stock 400ex one, you could the nipple here, this pin that sticks out, you can actually unscrew these from a stock 400ex one. So we're gonna go ahead and get that on there. Then now this goes on. Get that lined up, if it will allow me. Alright, so there's that now. So now the next thing that's going to go on is the circlip that goes on the, actually goes in this little groove that's on the axle carrier. I sandblasted that and I sprayed it with high heat black. I did not powder coat it because you don't want to make it too thick to where it won't fit in there. So let me go grab that and we'll put that on. Alright guys, I threw the circlip on the other side. It kind of fault me. It usually does. My circlip installing pliers or whatever the hell you want to call them, they don't open wide enough to get it around there, so I kind of got to like wrestle with it a little bit. And I have two sets of circlip tools too, and they just don't, neither one does what it wants me to do, or what I want it to do. Also on that circlip ring over there, let me show you guys real quick. One side of it says outside on it, so naturally make it, part says outside, face the outside. I don't know why one side's outside and the other side's not. It looks pretty the same on both sides to me, but hey, what do I know? I'm not the engineer for Honda or whoever designed that. Alright, so I rubbed grease in all the grease seals here and lubed up the lip. This way it doesn't get caught on the axle on both sides. The axle, I bought this second hand, guys. This is a Lone Star Excalibur. I cleaned off some of the surface rust that was on it, like where the bearings are going to go. I got this wiped down with grease, and then when this goes through, we'll put anti-seize on the splines where the brake rotor hub goes. But this just goes in from the left side of the quad to the right. Try to put it through there without scraping any of the grease on it, which, I mean, we're going to no matter how careful you are, but just go ahead and wipe that down before we do anything else. Alright, now we're nice in our grease seal on this side. Alright, we'll move that around a little bit, get it all worked in there together. Alright, now we're going to go put the brake rotor hub, which is also a Lone Star anti-fade right here. These are a few bucks right here, man. I got this, actually this came, if you guys go back in the old videos when I was showing you guys the 426 like 10 months ago or something, picked up this quad. It came with this Lone Star anti-fade and the Lone Star steering stem that we're using on this quad. You know, that's pretty much what made the direction go Lone Star the whole time here. So, you know, two simple parts made me spend thousands and thousands of dollars on stuff. So now I'm going to put anti-seize on the splines where this goes. When you put this on, you want to spin it all the way down, because what tightens it is when you loosen this and it expands and comes away from the rotor hub. That's what tightens up against the little pin that we are going to put that goes on the groove of the axle here. There's a more in detailed video, guys. I think it was the video titled something like 400ex times 8. We took one of those quads and, you know, got it up into a rideable quad and then got rid of that. There's a more in detailed part in that video on step by step how to put an axle in, the rotor hub, you know, all that good stuff. So if you want to know something a little bit more in detail, go check out that in my older videos. So, all right, let me do what I just said. I'm going to anti-seize that up, put the clip on, you know, and get this all buttoned up. And then we'll see what else we can do next. As I was going to just, I know I have a sprocket, but I think I might have used it. Actually on the 450R, I think I did, the Pro Taper sprocket that I bought for this. So I got to order a sprocket, and the hardware kit doesn't come with the 4 sprocket bolts. So I'm either going to have to order a set, or maybe if I do a BBC sprocket guard, those come with the longer bolts. I got to dig out a set for the brake rotor as well. I was going to put the Lone Star hubs on, just, you know, off camera, but I figure I'll show you guys these because there's a couple little steps that go here. First things first, man. Make sure your splines are cleaned and anti-seize the splines all the way around, 360 degrees. Get all the way in the grooves. Don't leave any dry spots. You don't want, you know, your hubs to be seized on. That's for damn sure. All right, so Lone Star Excalibur. We're going to put this spacer on here first. I like to ride my quad with the rear tires a little bit more narrow, not as wide as the front ones. So the front should be a little bit more stepped out than the rear. That's how I like to ride, but I have other spacers, but we'll figure that out after. So the first thing to go on is the spacer for the Lone Star. And then these hubs come with these like tapered pieces here, as you guys can see. So now this is going to go on just like that. And as you can see, the rear of the hub has like a tapered section. When I'm putting all my hubs and everything on the quad, guys, I like, you see how it has 4 sides to it? I like them all to be the same way. So, you know, this will be just like that too. It won't be offset. I guess you could argue it a couple different ways, like for balance or whatever, but so let's go ahead and spin our axle to where this is straight up and down. That one there, so we know a good reference point to put the hub on here. So, and usually when you have a good quality axle, guys, all the splines will be cut in the same exact spot. Sometimes, like on some of the cheaper axles, like you couldn't even line these up if you wanted to, because they're just cut wherever they get put in the machine to get cut. On the outside of this, You got this washer here. You can see there's two different ones here. I could technically make it this much wider if I wanted to, but you know, we're not going for that. So then you have this, goes on there just like so. And obviously the castle nut. This is the one that comes with the Lone Star Excalibur. It's not like a regular, like an OEM castle nut. And then you would, you know, tighten that down to your desired torque spec and put a cotter pin. I don't really use cotter pins on those. I use hitch pins and then zip tie the end closed. You know, serves the same purpose. I think it looks a little bit cleaner though. So yeah, there's all that, guys. Streamline rotor on the back. And let's see here, what else we got going on here? I just laid the airbox in there because I want to figure out my wiring too, but we're not doing that in this video. I'm obviously going to keep working on it and filming, but this video was just all the stuff to get it like ready to be put on wheels. So I guess really the only other thing that would go on that are those ITP Baja lug nuts. Just because, you know, we're not going to run just regular lug nuts now. We can't do that. What else is there? Oh, I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do to the cases, and then we're going to end this video. And then I'll start building the bottom end off camera, and then the next video, we'll put the top end on the engine and get the engine in the quad. We're like, it ain't really that much left to do, guys. It seems like a lot, but there's really not. Let me button this up, and then I'll pick back up with you guys, and then we'll get the video ended, because it's probably pretty long as it is. Alright guys, let's get this video wrapped up here. I'm having a problem getting that other hub off of the knuckle for the left side of the quad. The little, hold on one second, little bushing or spacer that comes in there that goes inside the grease seal here. She is not coming off. I hit that thing with an air hammer, started messing up the damn hub. That's good. Scratch my vapor blast and stuff. I'm having a problem getting that off, so I'm gonna have to pull another one of these off the quad, or off another quad. Anyway, here's this one on there. I have the stainless steel tie rods that came with the Lone Star A-arms, and I also purchased chromoly tie rod ends that are right. I got stuff everywhere, guys. I gotta clean all this up just to show you what I'm gonna do with the engine. This starter cover, we'll talk about this in a minute too. Hold on. Chromoly tie rod ends. They're BFE FAM. These are the same ones that I ran on the Banshee and the 450R. Thinking about that actually. What else? What else did I want to say to you guys? Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, man. Obviously, putting wheels on. You guys know how to put wheels on. I gotta order another set now since the Banshee got these, or maybe I'll just steal those back off of it just to get this thing going, because I'm not really riding the Banshee that much anyway. It's actually up for sale, so I don't want to break that before it gets sold. You know, shit happens. I'm gonna make a little list and go over a few more things. I'm just gonna order new sprocket bolts, another sprocket, and bolts for the rear brake rotor. And there's a couple other little things I got to order from like Rocky Mountain ATV, like the little washers that go under the valve springs in the head. That, you know, they're cheap. I'm not gonna go crazy looking for them, so I got to order those up. About this starter cover, one of you guys just commented, wanted to know how I coat the engines and stuff, like the one I just did for Mike's 416 build that you guys seen. The reason why I'm not going to build the 465ex bottom end on camera, because it's the same exact procedure. I'm not going to do that twice for the same thing to do. We will do the top end together on this quad, like, you know, start to finish, piston, cylinder, you know, the head, valve, springs, retainers. You guys seen me build a head before, so obviously I'll build the head off camera. We'll put it on, go over torque specs, braking procedures when the time comes, obviously. So what you guys were asking me about how I did the coating on the cases and stuff like that. So somewhere in the next week or so, I'm going to just do a quick little video to show you guys how I prep that, paint it, and all that stuff to get the results that look like vapor blasting. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. And yeah, let me button up a couple more things and then I'll piece you guys out. Let me show you guys this on the floor. I got stuff all over the bench that I got to organize and everything and figure out what's staying out and what's not. All right, so for the 465, the cylinder is the same. It's just bored out to an 89 millimeter, which is the same as a 440. Now, what makes it a 465, like I said earlier, is the stroke of the crank. So it's a longer rod, and then the wrist pin on the piston is in a different location to obviously lower the piston at top stroke and then pull it down further at the bottom of the stroke. So the cylinder skirt here, where this slides into the cases here, which these are, I mean, they're dusty, guys, but these are all vapor blasted by James over at Moto Blast. Once again, everything all done. All these bearings got to come out though. I'm putting all new bearings in the bottom end. This section here, I have to clamp the cases together with the gasket in there, because you got to account for that little extra thickness for the gasket. This section here has to be pretty much, sorry, a Harley went by. This section here has to be 0.2 millimeters larger in diameter for the skirt of the cylinder here, due to if it gets hot, well, not if, when it gets hot and it expands, you want it to have a little bit of breathing room. So one of you guys commented, I was talking to you during email, because one of you guys actually have a 465ex, and you said you did it at home with a Dremel. That's a good idea. I'm sure it worked just fine. I want to go for something a little bit more uniform. I'm pretty damn good with a Dremel, but you're not going to be 100% precise. Granted, it's only 0.2 millimeters. It's negligible, whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out the drill, and I bought a hone with the stones on the end, so it's not a ball hone, and I'm going to hog that out 0.2 millimeters with the drill and the hone here. Probably going to be a little tricky because these teeter on there like that, but you know, you get it spinning good enough, and probably keep, like, you know, this section here right where the bolts are that hold the hone together. I'm sure I can manage to get that done. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this long video. You know, you can't really help it. I don't want to make it 4 different videos to do what we did today. Obviously, if I had some wheels here, we could put this thing down on the ground pretty much. The only thing I really didn't do was tie rods and tie rod ends yet, but I'll do that like last, when it goes on the ground and everything, with wheels on it, with all the weight of the quad, including the engine and everything, all on it. So thank you guys for watching the video. As always, throw me a thumbs up if you have not yet. I mean, subscribe. It's free. Not charging anything. Not trying to sell you shit. So, and I'll see you guys in the garage next time. Probably putting the engine and the top end together. Well, the top end of the engine, and then putting it in the quad. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks for joining me in the garage. Peace!